The Madden Ultimate Team 10 years pack is in the game right now. If you guys played this game for 10 weekends and knocked out those solos, you can now unlock a free 91 to 93 overall legend that had an impact in Madden over the past 10 years. I'm excited about this because there are a ton of really good choices, and I know some of you guys are probably struggling about who you want to pick. I know when I was streaming on Twitch earlier today, everybody was like, yo, Tex, who should I take out of this pack? And depending on your scheme, the choice can vary, but there's one guy inside this Madden 10 pack that I think can affect anybody's scheme, whether they run the ball, whether they pass the ball. This one guy is going to make all the difference. But before we go ahead and get into that number one choice, let's go ahead and look at all the other 10 players that come inside this pack, and let's rank them from 1 to 10, starting at number 10. If you're tired of buying expensive packs for cards that are impossible to pull, be sure to check out my sponsor, MMOAN.com. They got the cheapest coins on the market. Stop getting ripped off and get to saving. Be sure to use code Texas at checkout for a 10% discount. Number 10 had just came out today. And I know a lot of you guys may not agree with this choice because he is a high overall strong safety. But unless you're a Steelers fan, I don't see the point in picking up Troy Polamalu. I'm really excited that Troy Polamalu is back in Madden. It's just unfortunate that we have 1,000 strong safeties in this game that we already have starting. So Polamalu's stats are really good, man. 90 speed with 91 zone coverage, 83 hit power. But if you guys are playing and getting your Muttmaster stats done, you got Pat Tillman. And who would you guys rather have? Troy Polamalu on the left or Pat Tillman on the right based off of ratings? The easy choice is Pat Tillman. Go down to Jamal Adams. Who would you guys rather have, Jamal Adams or Troy Polamalu? Answer is pretty simple there as well. Jamal Adams. And the thing about it is both these cards happen to be free. Now, Troy Polamalu will be free, obviously, if you guys got your Mutt 10 pack. But if you already got Pat Tillman, you already got Jamal Adams, you really don't need to get Troy Polamalu. And on top of all of that, he can't even get enforced. He only has 83 hit power. And so not being able to get enforced, not being able to force as many fumbles as Pat Tillman could with Enforcer or Jamal Adams when you need it in this game because everybody seems to want to run it stretch and run drags the entire time, Troy Polamalu is not going to help you out in the run game as much as these other cards will that you already might have on your team. So he's dead last on my list. He's not the worst player on this list. Clearly by overall, he's the best. But just based off of position necessity, we have way too many strong safeties in this game. And that's unfortunate because Troy Polamalu would have looked nice in my Panthers uniforms. So number 9 on my list is going to be Patrick Willis. Checking out this man's stats, 86 speed with 90 hit power, 86 block shed. Really solid card. The thing is, he's in the same situation as Troy Polamalu where we have a lot of position depth at the middle linebacker spot, right? So if you guys chose Shazier on your Mutt captain, you got Ryan Shazier out here who doesn't have the hit power he does. But over time, as more promos start to roll out, we're going to keep getting upgrades to Shazier, which make him very valuable. If you guys chose Ray Lewis this past weekend for the Most Feared promo, you got a guy here with 88 speed, 93 hit power, 90 block shed. Really good user as well. He get out here, fly around the field, catch picks. Also, Devin White Gauntlet, not really comparable, obviously, to Patrick Willis because he does not get enforced, but we still have a lot of guys out here at the middle linebacker spot that you can rock with and be just fine. So I like Patrick Willis a lot. I used to use him on my team. Actually, he's one of the first Mutt 10 limited time card I bought for like 1.5 million coins. I had a fun time using him because at the time, he was the only person, I believe, besides the Tillman that could get enforcer that was not like a defensive tackle. So it was fun getting out here enforcing fumbles. Like he was knocking dudes' blocks off. But with Ray Lewis coming into the game right now, you don't really need to get this Patrick Willis. So that's why he is rated as low on this list. Unless you're a Niners fan, obviously, pick him up. Really, I've got the missions up top. Choose whoever you want to. My job here is to just give you guys the best choice. But if you guys are Patrick Willis fans, get him. Number 8 on the list, we got Rob Gronkowski. And while I personally believe that this Rob Gronkowski IRL is the best tight end to ever grace the football field, like first ballot Hall of Famer, gold jacket, all this dude's amazing. For some reason in Madden, they never give him the ratings that he deserves. Rob Gronkowski was arguably, when he was playing, the best run blocking tight end in the league, as well as the best pass catching option for any, like he was that elite. But EA kind of has to nerf him because they can't have him great at everything. He kind of gets like the JJ Watt treatment where we know he's great, but EA makes him good at everything, which is not really conducive to having a really good card in the game. So like, look at Gronk compared to like a guy like Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen, we will all agree Greg Olsen is not a better pass catcher than Gronk. There's no way. We would not agree to that. But for some reason, in Madden, Greg Olsen, the same overall, the better pass catcher and same speed. Less run block, obviously, but that doesn't really make sense to me. You look at a guy like George Kittle, same speed, same catching for the most part, besides catching traffic, and better run block. So it's weird that Gronk does not really get the ratings on the card that he deserves, and so because of that, that's why he's number 8 on my list. It just makes me sad. Like the fact that Greg Olsen, the same overall, is better than Gronk, which is not the case at all. One of these guys is a future Hall of Famer, the other one is a future broadcaster. Doesn't make any sense. Number 7 on my list, we got Bo Jackson. This dude is an absolute unit, man. 90 speed with 91 trucking, 89 break tackle, 90 on his power up, obviously. This dude will be able to get bruiser and bulldozer. I don't think he can get invasive because he's a trucking back archetype, so that's going to be kind of hard to get. But if you guys like shift your backs, he's not for you. But if you guys love being able to run through a dude's face, this guy is going to be great for it. He's going to be good on stretch plays as well because, bro, if you run stretch, this is like the perfect guy to have. Like, he's going to break tackles, and on top of breaking tackles, he's fast enough to outrun a lot of the guys in the secondary. Number 6 on my list, and this guy honestly should be probably dead last, if I'm being honest with you. It's going to be Joe Thomas, man. It's kind of hard for me to put this guy lower because when the game works, Joe Thomas is elite. But if Madden Maddens, is kind of how, if Madden ends up maddening to you, Joe Thomas is going to be the worst pick out of that pack. So I've used Joe Thomas for the better part of like 5 days just playing online. And when he blocks well, you don't notice him. But when he blocks terrible, you notice him. And that's just a combination of just how bad ratings are this year and how bad some of these abilities are. I had on pass block elite, which is stronger pass block, and I had on all day, which is stronger against frequent check. Like I had all that stuff, and he still wasn't able to prevent me from getting sacked by a quick insta shed from an ability guy. Oh, but sometimes without him having the ability on him, he blocks extremely well against those Lawrence Taylors or the Aaron Donald of the world. But it's just so often where he just gets thrown to the ground, and so he should be dead last. But the one thing that's propping him up to where he is going to be the fact that he gets really good run blocking abilities. And despite how much I hate how good it is to run the ball in this game, Joe Thomas with nasty streak is a stretch offense must have. Like, he just runs through people like they're not there. And so because the run blocking in this game is so good, with nasty streak making it over effing powered, if you guys run a stretch scheme, if you guys run a toss scheme, or if you guys just run the ball and he's out front lead blocking, chances are you're getting a touchdown because he's going to knock dudes over like they weren't there. And pass blocking, dead last. But with run blocking, he's propped up to number 6. Number 5, we got Julius Peppers. And if this guy had been any other position besides a left end, he'd be higher on my list. He's a left end where we already have guys like DeMarcus Lawrence who are going to play very similar to Peppers, or Reggie White. He's much lower. If he happened to be an outside linebacker, as he was when he played for the Bears and the Packers, that makes him more versatile as well because he can play defensive end, outside linebacker, as well as middle linebacker, whereas this Peppers can only pretty much play one position. Well, he can play 2, obviously, but he can't play 3. He can play outside linebacker, you put him out there, or defensive end. You're not playing this guy defensive tackle because of his 84 block shit, and most of the guys in this game just run stretch as it is anyway, so having a guy that is that weak in the middle is going to result in you giving up huge plays down the field. I really wish they would have changed this position because that would have made him way more valuable, as well as increase his catching, because 55 catching is not really great to be out here usering with. You're going to drop a lot of picks, which sucks because I'm a Panther fan. If I happen to have one of these packs, I would have picked Peppers up, but I missed a week, so I'm SOL. Number 4, we got Calvin Johnson. I threw so many picks to Calvin Johnson this last house rules, man. 88 speed at the user spot. A lot of guys put this guy middle linebacker, and you really can't do much throwing over this dude's head. It's so frustrating. You have a guy open, and Calvin with lurker just right underneath comes in and just screws everything up. Like, you're not going to get the ball over this dude's head at all. If he's guarding somebody one-on-one, 9 times out of 10, Calvin's coming down with that jump ball. which makes sense because he's Calvin Ethan Johnson. The only negative about this Calvin Johnson is going to be his agility. He has 87 agility, which doesn't let this guy move as fluid in the secondary as he did in years past. So that's the only thing you can say about this card that's negative. Besides that, he's a beast. He just happens to be the 4th best player out of a bunch of good options. Now on to the top 3. Now this is where I think a lot of people are going to have differing opinions about who is the best player to pick up. So this might make you guys mad, but my 3rd best Madden 10 player is going to be Deion Sanders. This dude, Deion Sanders, has an amazing card, man. 92 speed, 92 agility, 92 acceleration, 92 man coverage, 90 zone coverage, really solid cornerback, 6 foot tall. Had we gotten this pack like 2 weeks ago, easily #1 on the list. But we just got so many more players at the cornerback spot in the past like 2 weeks that kind of make Deion not as needed for your team. So you look at the MUT heroes, right? We got the Chris Harris, who's amazing in man coverage. We got the Jalen Ramsey. We got the Xavier Howard. There's also we got Darius Slade. Not to mention Team of the Week. We also ended up getting recently Patrick Peterson. And then today, of all days, we got a 92 Denzel Ward, which you can power up to 93 overall. And basically, he is Deion Sanders, except for he does not have the 90 zone coverage, which is not a threshold. Talking to Mutt Leaks, talking to Gut Fox, 90 zone just makes him react faster, theoretically, than a guy with 86 zone, but is not a threshold other than to get an ability like zone out. So Deion can get zone out and man up, whereas his Denzel Ward can only get man up. But in terms of the zone coverage, both are going to play similar, just with the slight edge of Deion maybe reacting faster a little bit more than this Denzel Ward will be able to with his 85 zone, which you can get up to 87 if you guys got locked down, maxed out on your defense, obviously. But in terms of speed, acceleration, and agility, and jumping, and press, like Denzel Ward is Deion Sanders. So because we have guys like Denzel Ward, guys like Ramsey, you got guys like Darius Slade, I don't think Deion is as needed anymore on your MUT team because of the other guys that we have at those positions. So Deion is #3. Now #2 on our list of 10 is gonna be Michael Vick. I wanted to put Randy Moss here, but there's nobody in the game like Randy Moss right now. There are tons of other quarterbacks in Madden right now that are Michael Vick-esque. Lamar Jackson basically is Michael Vick, except for the fact that he doesn't have the top tier throw power that Michael Vick ends up having to have. Like if you have the power up 93 throw power, if you go ahead and go deep, that's gonna be 95, which is great. That ball's getting launched down the field. But between Andrew Luck, between Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, like Lamar Jackson, Steve Young, there are a ton of quarterbacks that can throw, run, and escape pressure. I've been saying this a lot during this video. It's like position scarcity, right? There are a ton of quarterbacks that can do what Michael Vick does. It's just obviously it's the Michael Vick experience. You guys want to go ahead and get this dude at 92 overall. I wouldn't be mad at you, man, because I love quarterbacks in the game because the ball's in their hand 90% of the time. Like, if you run the ball, Vick's hand the ball to running back. If you pass the ball, Vick's throwing the ball. So having a guy that you can rely on to make these accurate throws down the field, as well as avoid those glitchy insta sheds, Vick is that guy for you. But Randy Moss, man, you're not going to find a guy with his stats right now. Like, where are you going to find a guy in the game that's 6'4" with 91 speed, 90 catching, with 92 deep route running, right? Like, you're going to find guys that are short that can do that, but in terms of a guy that is 6'4" with that speed, it doesn't exist. He's a unicorn. Like, there's nobody that compares to Randy Moss. He can transform your offense into something you probably never thought it would be. You get the right abilities on this guy, streak specialist, post specialist, and just chuck the ball to this dude. He's going to win his matchups more than likely. It's kind of crazy now, too, because we got a lot of cornerbacks on the field that has speed that can keep up with Randy Moss right now. But just in terms of how rare this dude is, like, I think the next receiver we get, like Calvin Johnson, might only have like 88 speed. He's going to be 6'5", but he's not going to be where Randy Moss is. So look for receivers in this game that are tall and fast. And so Randy Moss is a must-have. He's a fit for everybody's scheme unless you just run stretch. If you run stretch, he ain't blocking for you. But if you guys are good Madden players and you don't just run the ball for the entire time, it's nice to have a weapon that can go up there and get the ball for you and run by anybody that's in his way. So Randy Moss is one on the list just because of there's nobody else in this game that exists that looks like Randy Moss. And that is my top 10. Post down in the comment section below, which Madden 10 player will you guys be choosing? And hopefully I didn't make some of y'all too mad, man. I know somebody's down in the comment section right now typing, yo, Tex, you really got Troy Polamalu rated lower than Joe Thomas? Yeah, and that's not any knock on Troy Polamalu. It's just a knock on the fact that we have other cards in Madden that do what Troy Polamalu does, but better. Anyway, it's been your boy Tex. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all.
They say money can't buy your happiness, but I swear to God, it's a good down payment. Trying to stuff so many binges in my pocket, you would swear that I was out here trying to drown Franklin. I was bred in the slums, got fed up with crumbs, now you don't play a pound cake. Told me money was a root of all evil, but I swear to God,